Hey guys, Zen here, and welcome back. Year 10 of Rainbow Six Siege. It's a monumental achievement for a game to launch literally all the way back in 2015 to now releasing new content here in 2025. And what a year it'll be. Guys, in this video, we're speaking on what you can expect in Year 10 and even the first few details of the highly anticipated new operator, an event leak that some in the community are calling the best event Siege has ever had, which even includes its own cinematics and storytelling, and the latest designer's notes. It's this operator, and even this sophisticated chap have all been changed. Guys, if you're wanting to get caught all the way up with everything you need to know, then this is the video for you. Right then, let's get it started. Guys, the Six Invitational 2025 is the culmination of a year's worth of Siege competition where the best of the best have one final battle to crown a king and raise the hammer. It's a place for the community to celebrate Siege, but also the place where we'll hear about Curtain, the Year 10 Season 1 operator if leaks are to be true. So guys, Curtain. This made its waves from a well-known Siege leaker that's been accurate with a bunch of previous content, and since then, the floodgates have been open. On top of this, it's been said that Siege is getting both idle weapon inspects, kind of like what you'd see with Call of Duty, and an all-new type of elite skin called Paragon Elites. Now, elites have been one of the most consistent skin bundles in the game, and pretty much you know what to expect. There's the unique operator skin, the weapon skin that goes on every weapon the operator has, a special gadget skin, an operator card, MVP animation, and of course, that iconic elite gold card background. They've become quite eccentric over the years. Dokkaebi, I'm looking at you. But now they're layering even more over top. So with Paragon Elites, you'll get unique weapon idle animations, which also means that most of the other idle animations will be mostly universal, and then animated card backgrounds. So since the beginning of time, the card backgrounds have been just a static image, and so with this new elite, animated options are now on the table. As of now, it sounds like that'd be something exclusive, like kind of special to Paragon Elites, but as with idle animations, there will probably be some unique options outside of the bundles. And then there's Curtain, leaked to be an attacking operator from New Zealand, and what this operator could potentially do is something Siege has been in desperate need of for years at this point. Now, we all know what this is, yes? Your standard barricade in Rainbow Six Siege, something that has been entirely exclusive to the defensive side, and in its own unique kind of way, it serves as a universal utility that basically any defender can use. Now, as the game has gotten faster and the TDM meta has shifted, this has been one of the long-lost art forms of Siege. Put up your barricades. They force the attackers to deal with them. They give sound cues, and they even provide cover, at least visually, in a pinch. And all of this is lost on the attackers. And so Curtain could finally be the response to this. An operator that sets up an attacker-sided barricade in doors and windows. As of now, if a barricade gets taken down, or someone makes a hole in one to peek through, or really anything else, it stays that way permanently, unless a defender decides to put it back up. This has always meant that that particular opening is something the attackers have to keep a constant watch on, and there really is no answer to it. They don't have a castle to seal it off or an Azami to patch it up. The best they can do is use flank watch gadgets like claymores and air jabs to make sure defenders can't just pass through it. But otherwise, a hole is a hole, and in Siege, sometimes you just need it covered up. And so Curtain could act as a kind of attacking carpenter that puts up a unique barricade that would obviously give out intel if a defender takes it down or punches through it. Now, I have heard some other theories, and even some pretty crazy ones, like an attacking bubble shield, like out of the Halo franchise, and even like a blackout operator that blacks out the map, lights out, or curtains closed kind of thing. But Curtain to me signifies wanting to conceal whatever is behind it, or wanting to prevent access to whatever it's concealing. And so a way to block off intel and utility is where I think attackers can accomplish that. Personally, I feel like smoke grenades and even scents do a good enough job at blocking things off visually, like when a plant goes down, but an operator to expand on that could be equally effective. Now, there is the potential that this is a code name, and code names can be a bit of a mixed bag in Siege. For instance, the code name for Azami was Flubber, and what we have in game and the kunai are completely different, although her original design, I guess, had a little more jiggle. And so yeah, Curtain, let me know what you think this operator does, and really, what other gadgets need to be introduced into Rainbow Six Siege? And so, what about that massive new cinematically rich event coming in Year 10? Now guys, I won't lie, if you look for it, you'll find it. I mean, this leak is pretty potent, but if it's not fanfic, it'll revolve around the Karis Legion recovering recovering Deimos from Rainbow, a glorified version of Hostage, and maybe TDM, where respawns are on, and throughout, they're playing all new cutscenes to deepen the lore. Now, it hasn't been since back in Year 3 Season 1 with the Outbreak event that an event has truly injected lore into the game, while also pairing all new unique gameplay. We've had the fan favorite Doctor's Curse, the Freeze for All event, Money Heist, the super unique Apocalypse event, and my personal favorite of the bunch with the showdown at Fort Truth. All special in their own right, but really nothing in way of lore or story, which I think is a focus here in Year 10, with this super unique event focused around Deimos' Karis squad and even a new character, potentially named Phobos. The Outbreak event back at the start of Year 3 was, I think, the pinnacle of an event for Siege. It was co-op, which I know some weren't huge on, but it was a way to break away from the super sweaty ranked lobby and team up to face off against a unique threat. It took place on a couple maps that were tailor-made for the event, which was really the bow on top, the chef's kiss to the community. And since then, I don't think I've dipped as much time as I did in Outbreak in any other event in Siege's history. It was, from at least a lore standpoint, the whole reason Lion and Finka were introduced to the game, and they've become major assets to Siege. And so, for a second run here with this Year 10 event, it could set up some major additions here. The squads in Rainbow Six Siege, Viper Strike, Red Hammer, Wolfguard, Ghost Eyes, Nighthaven, and now Karis Legion are our new backbone to lore. And so really anything to beef that up and create a more exciting foundation is, well, exciting. And we need more of it. Honestly, I've been playing a ton of Siege lately, and I cannot wait to see all of this made into a reality at the Six Invitational. And I'm sure these guys can't wait to pick up that hammer. And in a rare turn of events, maybe the rarest, the operator who swings that hammer, this guy is finally and actually getting a buff. Look, if you've spent any time at all in the Siege community, you've heard it before. Nerf Sledge. Jaeger's too strong? Nerf Sledge. Map needs a rework? Nerf Sledge. But not this time. Sledge has been buffed. In the latest designer's notes, the devs announced that Sledge is going from a 1-speed 3 health operator to a 2-speed 2 health, and from every angle, this is a buff to Sledge. Sledge is made to get around the map, creating his own path and bashing through just about anything that gets in his way. But what's really gotten in his way as of recently has been his absolutely abysmal speed stat. I've been grinding Sledge recently, and as much as I want the SMG-11 back, I think I've missed the 2-2 stat the most. This just makes this operator much more comfortable to use, and I think any Sledge player will appreciate the change. Now, another big update has come to the bane of ranked, as the Boss G, a standout for Vigil and Dokkaebi, is nerfed. You know, it took some time, but slowly over the course of Year 9, I started to notice the ban rate of specifically Vigil start to increase. With Dokkaebi, it was obvious. With the Logic Bomb and the powerhouse of a global ability, it just seemed more noticeable. But with Vigil, it finally clicked why his ban rate started to skyrocket. Ultimately, it's been the Boss G. I mean, a 3-speed roamer who you can't really drone out, and at any point can be looking at you with a one-shot down weapon with an ACOG. It's just a devastating combo, and thankfully, we can all be at ease because it has been nerfed. They say, with some time now in the live servers, we believe the Slug Shotgun class is not performing as intended. Our initial goal was to create something between a shotgun and a DMR, but the data shows they are closer to the latter, with the Boss G12 being the most prominent example. Therefore, we've decided to adjust their damage drop-off to align more closely with regular shotguns. This adjustment will maintain their lethality at short to mid-range while reducing their effectiveness in long-range engagements. However, their magnified scopes will remain to facilitate landing more precise shots. And so, here are the new stats. Strangely, this also has a very minute effect on Deimos with his Vendetta Magnum. It doesn't affect damage drop-off in any way, but it will have a slight reduction in destruction because they take the same caliber. But the change comes to the entirety of the Slug Shotgun class. So, of course, the Boss G is culprit number 1, but also the TCSG and the ACS-12 shotgun will feel this change. It's not like a huge deal, especially because you still get to keep the ACOGs for these weapons, but make no mistake, these are no longer long-range kind of anything-goes weapons. You'll need to be close to mid-range to really see the benefits here, and the community can all take a collective sigh of relief. However, they did up the damage of the TCSG to 75, so it should still perform how you'd expect, even at long ranges. Next, Legion, Buck, Kapkan, and Ram. Legion, an operator they always seem to be tweaking, loses 1 goo mine overall, so 8 in total, down from 9, and also the refill timer has increased to 30 seconds, up from 25. I think Legion is in such a good spot with pretty much everything else because the T5 is so good and the gadget is one of the best traps in the game that I don't see this being too bad, although this has enraged some of the community, especially those who roam with this operator. Kapkan lost his C4, and yes, this is a nerf. They replaced it with barbed wire, but Ubisoft actually makes a good point here. The barbed wire can help lead attackers to an EDD trap if you get clever with setup, and so depending on how you look at it, it might not be horrible. terrible. Ram loses the secondary shotgun, and it's not being replaced by anything, just down a weapon. But then Buck, a top 3 pick on PC, he lost a hard breach charge in favor of a Claymore, and I can't lie, Buck has been a one-man army solo queue superhero with both the soft breaching skeleton key and a hard breach charge, that I think removing it was the right call. And yeah, I get it, I'll accept the name calling and whatever kickback comes with it. I've loved Buck recently as well, but you still have flashbangs and can really get back to his super pushy, soft breaching fragger playstyle he got famous for. So yeah, lots of opinions on this change, but I won't let it overshadow maybe the best news for the entire update. Another G36C buff. It's got better recoil now, but the G36C has been so criminally underrated and in the shadow of the R4C, at least for Ash, that any buff to give it more use is a win. They even mentioned that Ash picks it just 2% of the time, which is just nuts. People are genuinely missing out. And so that's the patch. They did make Oryx's dash a little better. You get faster weapon recovery time after using it, but that's what's changed in Rainbow Six Siege recently. I honestly think this is one of the best updates in all of Year 9. And I think it should be noted that Blackbeard rose to the top banned operator in the game this season, and so I think we know what happens next. Cheers. After 8 years, over 100 million Switches sold, and an unholy amount of speculation, the Nintendo Switch 2 has finally been revealed. And this news quite literally broke the internet. At first, people weren't sure it was actually happening so quickly into the new year, but even after shadow dropping it, the trailer surpassed 18 million views in its first few days live, and the industry has taken notice, with one familiar face saying, "We're in love." And you could see this as just one massive gaming company congratulating another on a big announcement, but this story gets deeper. You see, the first go around with the original Switch, third-party devs just didn't know what to make of it, and after the failure of the Wii U, lots of them jumped ship. But Ubisoft was there, literally day one, with Just Dance. And so here, with the Switch 2, they're going all the way in. So Nate the Hate, the guy that correctly outed the reveal of this console, has put together a list of the games expected to be releasing on this thing, and a bunch of Ubisoft games make the cut. Assassin's Creed Mirage, the all-new Assassin's Creed Shadows, and even Rainbow Six Siege. This would be the first time ever that Rainbow Six Siege would be on a Nintendo platform, and it would introduce an all-new audience over to the game. Now, one thing to note here is that one of the key new features of the Switch 2 is the potential for the Joy-Cons to have mouse functionality. Everything in this reveal trailer, from the first to the last second, was very intentional, and they spend a good portion of time showing the Joy-Con controllers skating around and acting like a mouse. And this blows open the doors for people to have this kind of input locally and just built right in day one. However, we know that using a mouse on console is considered cheating in Siege, and so how they handle this particular platform will be very interesting. But yeah, this is a big win all the way around. Ubisoft gets to introduce an all-new audience to the most successful shooter they've ever made. Nintendo gets to get their foot in the door with Rainbow Six Siege, and console gamers can finally take this game portably and play it anywhere. I think Nintendo has to get their online infrastructure cemented, and especially things like party chat or a Discord integration to really pull gamers in, especially super competitive Siege ones. But until we learn more, this is just an exciting announcement. Nintendo will be hosting a Nintendo Direct in April, and it isn't confirmed we'll see Rainbow Six Siege, but they will be sharing more about the console, including games, and so something to pay very close attention to. And so I guess one of the reasons Nintendo revealed this system so early was so that developers and publishers could announce support. Maybe we get something at the Six Invitational, or better yet, a Zelda-themed Maverick Elite. It could happen. Next up, Operation Ice Storm, and an all-new map. Check this out. This is Summit, the brand new exclusive map for R6 Mobile. At first, it looked like R6 Mobile was just using everything from Rainbow Six Siege. And so far, at least from an operator standpoint, that's been true. But this is now another map that they've made exclusive to the game. So like currently in R6 Mobile and not in Rainbow Six Siege. And it looks sick. The snow theme, the mountain resort theme, it's a bit like Chalet, but it has its own flair. Now, we know that R6 Mobile is using Siege assets, but if the switch is flipped one day, it could be possible we see these maps converted ported over into Rainbow Six Siege. R6 Mobile has been really taking off, and they've just introduced another country with France now able to play. But here in the US, we're still patiently waiting for an iOS release and to get it natively. But with R6 Mobile, they've released a consistent flow of updates, they've released new operators, and again here, creating an all-new exclusive map. And so the game is really taking on a new form of its own. And so yeah, to wrap this one up, I thought I'd be extra late to the party and go over some 2024 Siege stats that just might make you think. In 2024, there were over 5 billion headshots and 170 million melee kills. The diffuser was planted over 650 million times, but of those, only 125 million times was it stopped. Smooth Brains walked into Kapkan traps 309 million times, and Unk stepped on a frost mat over 100 million times. These were just some of the stats they shared, and as you'll see, there's some pretty eye-opening stuff here, and it really makes you think about what's truly effective in Siege. Like when planting the diffuser, if it goes down, less than half the time does a defender stop it and win the round, which to me says on attack, your main goal should be to get a plant down. If you do, you're more than likely to win the round. But yeah, that's all in the past now, and it's 2025, and what a year it'll be. Guys, get subscribed and turn on those notifications because we have a lot more coming. It's been Zen. Hey, I'm out.